Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and welcome back to another Death Battle discussion video. I hope you all have been having a great holiday season, and I apologize because I did plan to get this video out a little earlier, but I have just had the busiest YouTube week. From reacting to Saitama vs. Popeye, to making a Death Battle tribute video, to ranking all of the Season 8 episodes. Our Discord also just hit 300 members, which is amazing. Links to all of this in the description, by the way, if you're interested. But now that that's all out of the way, we can look ahead to Season 9 and talk about the combatants that have been revealed so far. Of course, all of this is just speculation, nothing is confirmed at this point, it's just me giving my early predictions on what I think could happen. Additionally, I will not be going over every single opponent these guys could be fighting, for the sake of time, but even if I don't bring up a specific opponent, that doesn't necessarily mean I think it's impossible for them to be in the episode. I've just decided to focus on what is most likely, in my opinion, of course. Also, I can't guarantee every combatant or fight is going to get an equal amount of discussion time, because some of the opponents do seem a lot more obvious to me than others, and some of these characters I don't know as well as others, but either way, I hope you guys enjoy, and be sure to leave your own predictions down in the comments. So without further ado, let's get started. So I'm going to start with the characters that I know best, and then move on to the ones that I'm not as familiar with. First up, we have Scarlet Witch from Marvel, who is a character I'm pretty hyped to see come to the show. Obviously, she's ridiculously powerful, which will be so fun to see Death Battle analyze, but she also has some really awesome stories and moments for them to go over, so I definitely can't wait to see that. That being said, this is definitely one of the more obvious combatants in regards to who she's going to be fighting. I am like fully sure that she'll be fighting Zatanna from DC. She's definitely not fighting Raven, since Death Battle has shown their distaste for that fight before, and no other opponent that makes sense for Wanda works nearly as well as Zatanna in my opinion. I actually really thought this fight was going to be in Season 8 to commemorate WandaVision, but now it's being used to commemorate Multiverse of Madness, and I think that's pretty cool. This is an obvious Marvel versus DC matchup, although they're not exactly clones of each other in the same way that Ant-Man and Atom are. Still really want to see that fight though. But either way, there is a lot you can go over for these characters, and there is loads of animation potential, of course, so I'm really happy that we're getting this one in all likelihood. Next, let's talk about Vegeta from Dragon Ball. Yes, this is a returning combatant, which is not as favorable to me as seeing fresh faces, but I have really enjoyed the Dragon Ball fights Death Battle has made over the last couple years, and I think it'd be really cool to see one of the earliest characters ever brought on the show get the standard treatment. He's a really fun character, and he brings potential in a multitude of ways. This is another one that to me is painfully obvious. I have no doubt that he's gonna fight Thor from Marvel. Not only is Thor Vegeta's best opponent, which already makes it likely, but we also know that this is one that's been talked about for a very long time. We know that Death Battle is interested in it. We know Thor Love and Thunder is coming out this year. I just don't see them going with anything else when taking all of this into consideration. This is one that just feels inevitable, so when you see one of them teased, you're pretty sure you know what else is coming. I don't hold anything against this fight. I think it's fun and different enough from past Death Battle episodes that it can stand out. It may or may not cause a ton of uproar like with Hulk vs. Broly, depending on what they decide to do or not do, but I personally have no complaints at this time. I'm pretty excited for it. The last teased combatant that I feel I know quite a bit about is Boba Fett from Star Wars, another returning character, but he's one I actually like a lot. This one to me is probably the hardest one to predict. I feel like there are a lot of characters that you can make work for Boba, even if some of them don't work as well as others. He's kind of open-ended in that way. I've seen people suggest the meta from Red vs. Blue, I've seen people suggest Star-Lord from Marvel, even Wolf O'Donnell from Star Fox, which actually sounds pretty interesting to me. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Plus, I main him in Smash Ultimate, so that would be a plus right there. However, if I really had to pick one opponent I think it would be, I would lean more towards Predator. I know that Death Battle doesn't always go for the quote-unquote obvious choice when it comes to choosing opponents for characters, but Boba Fett versus Predator feels to me like it has the most longevity to it as a fight, and that does make me think it has a bit of an edge over the others. If there's one fight with Boba they've had on the back burner for a while, it's probably this one. But I would not be surprised or that upset if they went with one of his other opponents. Either way, we'll be going back to a non-Jedi or Sith Star Wars character, which is a nice change of pace, and if we do get Predator, then we'll be getting another live-action movie character, which I would be pretty hyped for. Regardless, can't wait to see how this turns out. So now we're getting into the characters that I really don't know as well, starting with Tetsuo from Akira. I don't know that much about this character. He's from a manga anime that I've heard of before but never read or watched. Can't really say too much from an excitement perspective, but as you all know, I love when new franchises get put into the show, and that seems to be one of the major goals of this season. So I'm pretty on board with this. From my understanding, there really only seems to be two likely opponents for Tetsuo, which are Mewtwo from Pokemon, and the character I actually think he will be fighting, Magneto from Marvel. I almost feel like I'm cheating with this one because I believe, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I believe that the people at Death Battle themselves have said in the past that if Tetsuo or Magneto ever came to the show, they would be fighting each other. And if that is the case, I would be very surprised if they decided to go back on such a firm claim like that. Maybe they'll do it, maybe they've had a change of heart since then, but I personally wouldn't bet on it. I actually love Magneto, and I think it'd be awesome to have him on the show, although it is annoying to see that 3 of the teased fights are almost guaranteed to include Marvel characters. 4 if Boba Fett actually ends up fighting Star-Lord. So hopefully we don't get too many more of them in the other slots. And if this does happen, sorry to all the people who wanted Magneto versus Accelerator. I don't really have a preference just because I really only know Magneto, but yeah, hopefully this turns out to be fun. Moving on to the next character, we have Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. Again, I am quite excited to see new characters from new series come to Death Battle, but this is another combatant I can't talk about too much just because I'm not that familiar with him. I've heard good things about Demon Slayer, and Death Battle is one of the major ways I can get into new franchises, so that's cool, but I can't say that much at this point in time. I'm not going to waste any time with this one. I'm pretty confident that Tanjiro will fight Jonathan Joestar from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm pretty sure it's like the only major Tanjiro fight that's being talked about right now, and it works the best compared to anything else they could do to my knowledge. If we do get this, I think it'd be cool to look at a JoJo's character who's primarily from part 1 for a change, and again, either way, I am looking forward to learning about Demon Slayer. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. And last, but certainly not least, we have Jinx from League of Legends. This is a surprising character to see teased for this season, and like Boba Fett, I feel like there are a lot of options you could go with if you really wanted to. I've heard Gage the Mechromancer from the Borderlands franchise, I've heard Junkrat from Overwatch, I've even heard Trigger Happy from Skylanders, and you know what? Yeah, I'd love to see a Skylanders rep come to the show. That'd be awesome. These fights do pique my interest quite a bit, but I'm personally thinking that Jinx will end up fighting Harley Quinn from DC, and I'll explain why. While Jinx isn't the most obscure character out there, she's still pretty obscure. There are going to be a good number of people who don't know who she is. And if there's one thing I've learned from watching Death Battle, especially recently, it's that they usually tend to do what it takes to draw the biggest crowd they can. And Harley Quinn is definitely the best of Jinx's options to do that. I think this fight has the potential to be wacky and fun, but it doesn't get me the most hyped right now, to be honest. Harley Quinn isn't my favorite DC character by any means, and I might honestly think some of Jinx's other opponents work better. If any of them do get in, I won't be completely surprised either. But no matter what we get, I'm sure I'll get hyped up within time, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy it at least a little bit. So guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you want to hear some of my other ideas for Season 9, I did make a separate video on that, so click the link in the description if you want to go check that out. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, comment your comments down below, let me know who you think these teased fighters are going to be fighting, and just some other fights that you think are going to happen in this season. And if you could subscribe to the channel as well, that would be so great, that would really help the channel out. But no matter what you guys do, thank you all so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. And yeah, that's it for me. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.